Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading, and today is April 11, 2025, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, Bitcoin continues to trend higher, but first, no major economic events scheduled for today. So starting out with the Forex markets, we're watching the US dollar advance versus the Canadian dollar, and that's going first. Now looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both have a gap up this morning, which may indicate a further trend upwards. Now looking at commodities, we're watching gold actually gap down, opposite relationship with the markets, and oil continues to trend higher. Now looking at the stock, Tesla pivots above its resistance and may look like it's going to continue going on that uptrend. And Bitcoin continues to climb to 104. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. Looking at the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, you can see it advances versus the Canadian dollar to 139. Now it did hit that 30-day moving average and used it as a resistance, and it's just, retracing here, but it's still relatively resilient on a daily basis. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If this continues to just hang out around its, or capitulate around its resistance level and then finally breaks out, 200-day moving average on a 1-hour chart, and looking at a daily, we have a resistance at 139.48, and we're just below that. We're about 24 pips just below that, so that's really important to look out for further today. Now, Japanese yen, not doing much here. Okay, yes, I would have anticipated that the dollar would have risen against the Japanese yen first, but it didn't. So just taking that into consideration, I'd really like to see this, kind of get itself up above this 146.34 for it to be pushing higher. Okay, so you kind of see that the markets are not trading completely in tandem right now. Now jumping into commodities, let's take a look at gold, as that has a huge gap down this morning, and you can see that we're pivoting lower considerably. Now we are on supportish area. Right here where we are right now is supportish area, so I would imagine that we'll have some sort of bounce at some point, but if we do retrace, our next stop is 32.32, so that's also a move to the downside. Now gold has been trading really in a range, I would say, over the past month and a half, where we kind of like capitulated at that 3,500 and then just found ourselves. Now if I look at a monthly chart, you can't see that so clearly, but maybe on a weekly you could see it. Yeah, there we go. You see that congestion, okay? It's not going in either direction. It's kind of finding itself. It even gets itself actually a wedge formation. Lower highs, lower lows, and it's going to move in one direction or the other at some point, so keep that in mind. Now looking at crude oil, a nice move to the upside as that has made its way back from that $55 route. Now it is on resistance-ish area. That 30-day moving average, which is the blue line, is its resistance area. So keep that in mind, as that may not continue to push higher. Now looking at natural gas, also moved to the upside a little bit here, as that also had a wedge formation and boom, picked it out to the upside, and that was the side that it went higher. Now looking at the US markets, the NASDAQ has a huge gap up this morning to 20,497, above its 200-day moving average. That is super important, as that has really gotten much stronger and coming back after that massive sell-off. You could see here also on the Dow Jones, a big gap up this morning to 41,700 level. Now this is all because the tariff wars are kind of working themselves out. China is working itself out with the United States. We know that the UK worked itself out last week, and sure enough, the markets are coming back. Okay, so for now, they are on an uptrend, but we got to take it just stock by stock. And looking of that, speaking of Tesla right now, it pivoted above its resistance area, which is super important, 397. However, it didn't sustain above the $300 range. But I'd like to see if we get some follow through on the upside here as well, as that has relatively been something of a strong stock. Now looking at Microsoft also has been a pretty strong stock on the upside. Okay, and looking at the bank stocks, JP Morgan kind of faltered out after that move higher last week, but then didn't follow through onto the upside. And looking at Facebook also did not. So there's a list of stocks that I would say are strong, a list of them that are weak, and you want to trade accordingly. The ones that, if the markets are going higher, you want to trade the ones that are strong. And if the markets are going lower, you want to trade those that which are weaker. Now looking at Bitcoin, a nice move up to 104,213. We are getting closer to our resistance-ish area. And if we do break above that, boom, we could go much higher than that. So keep that in mind as this is still unfolding to the upside. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.